Friday evening, weather for Weather Geeks time. Welcome back, everyone. Thankfully, this evening will be a lot quieter than last evening was. I think I talked for something like 75 straight minutes on the live stream last evening with, of course, a tornado warning in parts of Mahoning County and several severe thunderstorm warnings across our area last night. Now, we had no confirmed tornadoes in our television viewing area, but just to our west, the National Weather Service out of the Cleveland office went and did a storm survey today and found tornado damage in parts of Stark County. This was mostly in Perry Township, just to the west of downtown Canton. This was a little after 8 p.m. And this was on the ground for a few miles in a kind of a northeasterly direction. Now, they mentioned in their description that this did not consistently stay on the ground through this entire path. It kind of hopped up and down a little bit. But generally, this was the path from about Navarre on north and east into Perry Township. As far as the details on the tornado itself, this was an EF0, pretty low-end tornado with winds of about 80 miles per hour when it was on the ground. The width of the tornado estimated to be between 25 and 50 yards. So, yeah, a pretty weak tornado, but a tornado nonetheless, and it did cause some structural damage to some places, and it also caused a fair amount of tree damage near that tornado in Stark County. Just a reminder, we're heading into the time of year, of course, when we'll have more and more evenings like we had last evening. And because of this, of course, as we get into March, it's Severe Weather Awareness Week next week in the state of Ohio. This includes the statewide tornado drill, which occurs Wednesday the 20th at 9:50 a.m. So it'll be one of those days where you'll hear a lot of talk about tornado sirens because of the statewide tornado drill. And you know, if you're a regular viewer of this video and you've been following me for a while on social media, you know, we're trying to get people away from what we call the siren mentality. In other words, people basing decisions on whether sirens have been sounded in their location or not. You should not base decisions on whether or not you hear a siren. For many, many reasons, one of which is sirens are set off by local officials who sometimes will activate them when a warning is not out, and we saw that in Trumbull County yesterday, where sirens were heard in many, many communities that were not under a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning. You know, for several years now, the National Weather Service has been issuing what we call polygon-based warnings, not entire counties. It used to be whenever the Weather Service would issue some sort of severe weather warning, the entire county would go under the warning. Now it's more of a polygon system where parts of counties are put under warnings in an effort to be more precise as to where the threat is. But that being said, a lot of the activations of tornado sirens are done in parts of counties that are not under warnings. It's kind of, perhaps the mentality of the way it used to be. And tornado warnings, tornado sirens, I should say, are not meant to be heard indoors. There are many, many better ways to get to warnings in 2019, even for folks who maybe just still have a flip phone and not a smartphone. Weather radios are very, very inexpensive options to get warnings in a much more reliable fashion than old-fashioned sirens, which, in all honesty, should really be retired. They serve a very, very limited function in this day and age. All right, off my siren soapbox. Of course, there was a tremendous fire this morning in the wee hours of the morning at Donnell Ford in Boardman, and they're still looking into what the cause of that fire was. It probably started on the roof. There's been some speculation that maybe there were some lightning strikes in the area. Now, what I'm doing here is showing you the radar loop from early this morning, and I really doubt that lightning was involved in this. The last of the shower activity moved through Boardman at 2:19. Crews responded to this fire right around 4. I'm not sure when the fire started. The last of the showers were around 2:15, 2:20. The last of the lightning across the area was closer to midnight, between midnight and 12:30, right through here. That's right at 12:30, the last kind of bona fide lightning strikes that we had. So I really doubt, I really doubt that it was lightning that was the primary cause of this fire at the car dealership in Boardman, unless the fire started a few hours before crews responded, which seems unlikely. But there was definitely no lightning around anytime near 4 o'clock this morning. All right, this evening we have no severe weather. It is raw and chilly and windy, and we've got showers around. I went outside after the 6 to move my car, and it was unpleasant. The rain just kind of pelting you in the face with a raw, chilly wind as well. What happened to our warmth? Well, it all shifted to the east. Look at that, 72 in Philadelphia today, 73 this evening in Washington, D.C. Even as nearby as State College in Altoona in central PA, it got well up into the 60s today. But of course, it was a whole different story here. And as the air mass continues to cool tonight, our rain showers will probably transition into a scattering of snow flurries late tonight into tomorrow. No impacts or accumulation from this. But just a reminder that we're still technically in winter, astronomical winter, for another handful of days. The final weekend of astronomical winter will start chilly tomorrow with clouds, occasional sunny breaks. Best chance for a flurry or two in the morning, but I can even rule one or two out in the afternoon. Clear sky for Saturday night and early Sunday. Clouds probably return Sunday afternoon. This next system is pretty weak. Sprinkles, flurries, going to be a possibility. Second half of Sunday. Again, no impacts from this if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, Saturday night, or at any point on Sunday. The weather, aside from it being quite chilly, will not be a factor, and Monday will start out with some sunshine and dry. And, you know, even if you didn't see severe weather last evening, most of our areas saw a pretty decent dumping of rain, and there's a lot of wet yards once again out there. We're going to get a chance for our yards to dry out over the next week. Very benign weather pattern next week should produce total precipitation amounts half an inch or less, probably even closer to a quarter of an inch over the next week. So that is some good news. Also, no accumulating snow in our forecast. Now, as we peer into the long-range crystal ball, this is the 8 to 14-day precipitation outlook, and a lot of the stormy weather that will be centered out west will start to translate a little bit east as we go into the final 7 days of March. I'm expecting a mild stretch here in the 8 to 14-day outlook, but also potentially a little bit more active as well. Next week looks pretty benign. The last week of March, maybe a little bit more we may see more frequent precipitation events, but it should be liquid with as warm as it is likely to be. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks as always for watching Weather for Weather Geeks this week. I'll see you back here on Monday.